How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to another episode of Couples Coverage. We're in episode 5?
5 already.
Wow, time is flying by, but want to say thank you to everyone who has watched our podcast, listened on Spotify, saw the social clips on TikTok, Instagram, and wherever we're posting. But I just want to say thank you. As you know, I'm your host, Nicholas Moreano. I am joined by my beautiful co-host, Stephanie Abonce. How you doing, babe?
I'm good. We're back. Reunited. We spent the whole week apart, as we mentioned on last week's episode. So it's nice to be back. Not really in our routine yet because we're about to leave again tomorrow.
I know. Yeah, so we're not recording early, but we're recording because you'll be in Philadelphia.
Yep.
And then where am I going? Oh, I'm going to Vegas. I almost forgot.
Where am I going?
I'm going to Vegas for the next couple of days. So yeah, it's a bunch of traveling, but we had to get the pod in. We had to make sure everyone who, tunes in every Wednesday, and we're gonna make I guess a staple right now that we're gonna publish these things every Wednesday. Now you know exactly what to look forward to, when to look forward to couples coverage. Wednesdays are the days where you just need to set aside everything else, taking 35 minutes, 40 minutes. Last episode was a little bit longer. Appreciate everyone who listened, but just to listen to couples coverage.
Yeah, we've been doing Wednesdays, but I don't know. We're saying it now because we've been having consistent Wednesdays, so we're just gonna keep it at that.
Hold us accountable. But yeah, so appreciate everyone for doing that. And today's episode, and we were kind of debating what exactly the exact topic is, but I think it's pets, but it's also becoming
pet parents.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of combination here. And what you don't see on screen right now is Brady, our Australian cattle dog, shepherd, German shepherd mix, 3-year-old boy. Who's
first listener
of couples coverage. He's just sleeping in his little dog bed. We'll get him on camera in a little bit here. But we can't even go talk about dogs or anything yet because... We have to go, for both of us, obviously having different experiences growing up, what pet life was like for both of us when we were small, younger kids.
Actually, hold on. Before we start, I just want to say that I did get a little bit of a cold. So if I sound different or if I'm clearing my throat, just excuse me.
I think you're definitely sounding better and feeling better than, when you came back from your awesome vacation.
Oh, yeah, no, I was dead when I came back, which I felt bad because we only had we've had 2 days together, and the first 2 days I was really sick. But yeah, feeling better. But just wanted to put that out there in case I sound different or in case I have to clear my throat off to the side.
Babe. Sound great. You sound doing good.
Okay. But yes, pets. All about pets, growing up with pets. I guess should we just dive into what it was like? Yeah,
for you, what was when you were younger? What was did you have pets growing up? What kind of pets did you have? And what kind of has that experience been like for you when you were younger?
Okay, so growing up for me, my parents were very anti-pets, specifically dogs. No. I know. And it's not that they didn't like them. It's that they felt that we were too young to be responsible enough to take care of a dog because it is a lot of responsibility. So if we did have pets, it was always very low maintenance pets. Sorry, I don't know. We should have put a mic on him. Sometimes he has these little cute sighs, and I'm gonna be looking at him.
With Brady. I think that would get a bunch of views. We'll have to do it one time. Actually, to get completely off topic here, I think the NFL posted a video of a golden retriever, and they hooked up a GoPro on his back, and he was just going up to all the players, and all the players are loving him. I would love to do that, Brady, just to see his little adventure and from his perspective.
I would love to have him be in one of the halftime shows. Because this man can jump. He's got hops.
Yeah, I was actually, real quick. I was in Indianapolis, the halftime show. They had dogs catching the Frisbees.
I know,
he would do that. I mean, he already loves playing catch with my dad.
And he's fast.
Yes, he's very fast. Foreshadowing a little bit, playing catch with my dad, because there's backstory to that too. But he would be awesome at that. But continue with your story, babe. Sorry.
Okay, so as I was saying, yes, parents were all about low maintenance pets. So we had a ton of goldfish. My sister had a bunch of hamsters. That's the thing too. We had pets, but they were, for the most part, never like family pets. They were like, I had a bunny. My brother had, I don't know what he had. He had something that was like specific to him. My sister had a hamster that was hers. So we all had like pets that were kind of our own. So yeah, a ton of goldfish. I had a bunny.
Ooh.
I'm gonna quiz you. What was my bunny's name?
I can't think of it.
You're kidding me.
No,
This is messed up.
this is messed up.
This is messed up because I've mentioned this to you lots of
I can't even
times.
look at the camera right now. No. What was your bunny's name?
Like, what would a girl name her bunny?
I don't know, like Fluffy or something.
You're close.
I don't know. What was it?
Cuddles.
Cuddles. Okay.
Cuddles. Yep.
Yeah,
I had a bunny
very
named
typical
Cuddles.
bunny name.
How dare you?
Cuddles.
How dare you? But yeah, Cuddles. He lived, I'm assuming, a very short life because I don't feel like I had him for years. I just remember story time. My bunny Cuddles. I think we got him at the 7 Mile Fair. Which, by the way, 7 Mile Fair growing up to me, I thought it was so far away.
Yeah. Well, it's not.
It's not. It's like super close to here. But whenever we would go, I always felt like, oh, we're going to 7 Mile Fair. Like, that's far from here. But it's not.
Probably. I mean, from here, it's probably like a 25-minute drive. Far drive.
We were going like on a huge like road trip. But anyways, so yeah, got him there. I remember there was one day, actually this is really sad. There was one day where I was gonna go give him a carrot and he was dead.
Oh no.
It was sad. And I was about to go to church school. I used to go to church school on Sundays. I was preparing to do my communion, I think, my first communion. And I went in there before I left to give him a carrot, and sadly he had passed away. And I immediately started crying, obviously. And I remember my dad was, obviously he felt so bad, but I still had to go to church school. So I think he bribed me. He was like, I'll give you $10 if you stop crying.
Yep. I remember getting bribed with money when you were sad, when you were younger. It always worked.
Like, don't cry, here's some money. Yeah. So I cried, and I still took the money, but I cried the whole day at church school. I just remember like having my head down and just crying the whole day. And I cried for weeks after that. Because it was my first pet, and I loved it. And I still love bunnies.
You do, and we've been seeing a lot of bunnies around our apartment complex here.
Yeah.
But Cuddles will not be forgotten, and I will remember Cuddles' name.
I still have pictures of him.
Moving forward.
So white bunny with brown ears.
Cuddles will be remembered, and now everyone on the podcast will remember Cuddles. For me, it's funny because my parents both grew up with dogs. And we were supposed to get a dog when my youngest brother became potty trained. And that we never got, well, my brother became potty trained, but we never got a dog. We never got a dog.
Happened.
Yeah. And I would always ask, and I think my brother, Dan, would always ask, like, yo, he got potty trained, when we're getting a dog. We never got one. So for me growing up, I was big into reptiles. So that used to be my pets. My very first pet that I ever had was a gardener snake. And
a what?
A gardener snake.
Gardener?
Oh. Yeah, gardener. You would just find, I found it in the backyard. So I just found the snake, picked him up, like, ooh, look at this. Named him Serpent. The snake, it actually was based off a Yu-Gi-Oh card. It was called Serpent Night Dragon. And yes, he became my pet. But he was awesome because I would also take Serpent to show and tell. I would always ask all my teachers, like, hey, I have a snake. He's cool. He can go on my arm, just crawls up, and he's like, cool. And he won't do anything. And like all the students can come like touch him if they want. And so I would bring him to.
You probably thought you were so cool.
Oh, I definitely was. I mean, how many fourth, fifth graders had a snake? And again, I found it in my backyard. I also found another one that I kept with him. His name was Viper. And he actually got loose in my basement and was gone for a whole year hibernating. And I found him a year later and I let him free, which was awesome.
So hold on. When you told me the story, I was like, you lost your snake in the basement and found him in the same basement a year later. That's crazy.
Well, the thing is, I went down in the basement one year, and down in the basement where it's cold, and he wasn't in the cage. I'm like, what the hell just happened? He's not in the cage, and I remember looking all over, and
what did your parents say to this? Like, you just
I'm
lost a snake in the house.
I'm trying to remember if I told them or not. I don't know. I probably did. Like, I don't know if I did actually.
So wouldn't they know though? Like, you have this pet snake, and suddenly you're not talking about him. You're not feeding him.
Well, there's the other snake was still in there too. I don't know if they like looked in there and like, the other snake's under the fake log. Who knows? But he got loose sometime in December, and I found him later, and I let him free. But Serpent was my favorite one, and I would buy him goldfish so he could eat. He'd be like a little, like be in his little fake tree and just swipe at the water and eat the goldfish, which is cool to see. Like you, I was about to go to school one day, and I knew that snakes were cold-blooded. I knew that. I was big into animals, but I had him for a winter already, and he had survived it. This next winter, I went down there ready to go to school. Go in there. What's up, Serpent? The traditional little S that snakes make?
Yeah.
That man was frozen like that. And I remember oh my God, how can I go to school right now? And I'm going into 5th grade.
Wait, so he froze in the basement?
He froze in the basement, and we buried him in the backyard. But that was Serpent. Awesome snake. Loved him. He was really cool.
No.
And then I also continuing here, and
dang. So how cold was your basement?
Well, they're cold blooded. Like, they need to have a heat lamp.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
He didn't have a fighting chance because I didn't give him one. I also had a leopard gecko. I had him for years, and I can't remember. I can't put the exact amount of years on it, but he was really cool because my older cousin had one, and so I got one. This guy was yellow. He looked like a little leopard, but in a gecko version. So he was really cool, and I had him for years. And I would again had a heat lamp this time, so he was really cool. And eventually he passed on. We built a little grave in the backyard because I love that guy so much. But big into reptiles, and that was kind of my gateway to pets because we never had a dog.
Yeah.
So that's what I grew up with. And I really like tarantulas and stuff. Never got one. I always tried to beg my mom for one because my uncle had millions of them. And I'm like, I want one of those, but never ended up getting one of those.
You're such a typical little boy. Yeah. Your reptiles and snakes.
Spiders.
Did you catch frogs?
Oh, yeah. Well, always with the hand. You just catch them in your hand and put them in a cage. And we never kept them because we had so many in our backyard. There were so many animals. And over the years, there became less and less. But, yeah, I would just catch them, put them in a cage, look at them, and then boop, let them go.
Actually, can I tell a story real quick? Because you just reminded me. So when I was teaching... there was one teacher who was out that day, and she messaged me if I can go into her room and feed her lizard, I think.
Okay.
Was it a lizard? I feel like I've told you the story before.
I don't know. You gotta keep saying.
Okay, so some reptile asked me if I can feed it.
Some reptile asked you if you can feed it? Feed me.
She asked me if I can feed some reptile she had in this cage. Anyway, so... I go into this classroom. You have to take the lamp off of the lid and then the lid off and then feed it, whatever. I put the lid back on. And I remember I finished, whatever. I left the room. And this was on a Friday. So I remember I was at home. And you know that moment when suddenly, maybe girls know what I'm talking about. When you feel like you accidentally left the straightener on and you're not at home. Or you left something on and you feel like you have tunnel vision. Like you can't think of anything else. That's how I felt. I was like, oh my gosh, did I leave this lamp on this wooden table?
Oh, you think you're going to burn down the whole place or something?
I was having the worst anxiety. I'm like, oh my gosh, I left this heating lamp that gets extremely hot on this wooden table. And in my head, I'm picturing the school burning down. I don't remember if I remembered this later that Friday, but I legit was looking at news articles. I'm like, has anything been burning down? I was in full panic mode, and I lived an hour away, so it's not like I can quickly go check, So I had to message someone else that lived really close by. I'm like, can you please? And luckily she had keys to the building.
Mhm.
I didn't want to alarm everyone, you know. I messaged someone that I trusted. I was like, can you please go check and make sure that this lamp is not sitting on this table? And she did. She went. She said I had actually put it on the lid again. So I was freaking out for no reason. But I just remember how much anxiety this gave me. I couldn't think of anything else. I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do? I freaking burned down a school.
I think that feeling is pretty common, especially when you go on a trip. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, you have everything packed up and you're about to do this. Like, did I turn off the stove? Like, I didn't even turn on the stove this morning, but did I turn it off? Like, yeah. So I feel like that's something that people can relate to.
My dad used to do that. Like, we would leave and we would have to turn around because he couldn't remember if he closed the garage.
My dad, if you watch this, you did that all the time, and you always closed it.
Yeah, always closed it.
You just always had to make sure, like, and there actually be sometimes like I have no idea, and then we drive back. It was closed.
It was closed.
It always
because it's like muscle memory, you know. But when you really think about it, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I did it or not.
Yeah, but, no, it's definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, that was my quick little story. But I did want to share one more pet that I had.
Okay.
I've also shared this story with you. I had another pet. Do you know what it is?
You're putting me on the spot here.
I know. I know because these are easy questions.
Nope.
I'm going to tell you and you're going to realize.
I probably am.
I had a chicken.
Oh, the chicken. Yes.
Oh,
yes,
my gosh.
Chicken.
Okay, what was the chicken's name?
I don't know. Chicky.
Guys.
It's been a long day.
No, you wouldn't know this if I asked you on a short day.
Probably not. Tell the people what your chicken's name was.
The people and you.
Sure.
Chirpy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah.
The names, yeah.
Well, okay, so
Cuddles and Chirpy.
As I've mentioned on the last episode, my family would take a lot of trips to Mexico. Mm-hmm. And we had a lot of people who owned, I guess, farms near us. Like they had a bunch of animals, horses, cows, chickens, pigs. And I don't know if this was like a family friend or something, but we went to go visit just because we wanted to see all the animals. And they asked me if I wanted a chicken. It was like a little like tiny baby chicken. And of course I said yes. Not really knowing or thinking too far ahead, like what am I going to do with this chicken? Because we're only there for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. But I said yes and I took this chicken with me. And it was the cutest thing ever because we had like a fenced in house. We have a fenced in house in Mexico. And I would just let her free. She would come to the door and eat tortillas and like all these little grains in the morning. And she was so cute, just followed me around. And then when we left, I ended up, well, not even me, my mom just ended up giving her to my grandma because we had to leave, you know? It was towards the end of a trip.
Where this goes.
And in Mexico, you're not going to have a chicken as a pet. Like, they're there because they eat them. So I'm over here thinking my grandma's like taking care of my pet chicken for me. I remember my mom would call her once we were back because my mom calls my grandma a lot, and I would ask for updates on my chicken, and my grandma's like, oh, she's doing great. She's getting so big. She follows me around everywhere. And then eventually, how's the chicken? Oh, she tasted great.
Oh, that's funny and also sad, but
that is so messed up.
Trippy. Sure. Once your pet, and then also helped feed the family.
I just don't understand to this day. It still breaks my heart because this chicken was like so attached. It was just like a single chicken, you know? Like, how can you eat a chicken that's been following you around and like trusts you so much? It made me so sad, honestly. Still heartbroken. I'm not even kidding. And I tell you all the time, I still want chickens because they're honestly such great pets.
Am I making up a silhouette? Is that a chicken?
You're close.
Oh.
Silky.
Silky.
I want silky chickens. I just think it's so cute to be able to like go get eggs in the morning.
Yeah, we go through eggs too. Like our eggs here. So.
Yeah, I want like a chicken coop with lots of little silky chickens.
Maybe we just won't name them because...
No, we'll name them because we're not going to eat them. No, we're not gonna eat them. I don't eat chicken. I'm not eating them.
I do. I eat chicken. Well, I'm glad that you shared your stories about Chirpy
Cuddles.
and Cuddles, both C's. C's, you know what? Also, obviously, couples coverage is with C. And before we continue our story about our pets and being pet parents, I have to tell everyone about Owen here. It stands for Only What You Need, and it's a fitting name because one, it's 100% plant-based, vegan-friendly, no net carbs, no non-GMO. Literally, you get all the good stuff that you want in a protein shake, and that's all. There's nothing else that's, added in there that you don't need. And with couples coverage and Owen, great partnership here growing. You can actually save 15% off your first purchase by using the code CC15 at checkout, a percentage of your order. So, and I recommend you just stack it up. Comes back to us here at Couples Coverage so we can do, more things with the podcast. Right here, I have just the regular chocolate. And this is the Elite Pro, which has 32 grams protein. But if you want something smaller, you also have the dark chocolate here, which tastes really good. 20 grams of protein. So you have a lot of variety, and you can go on their website, liveowen.com. And then once you're at the checkout, deciding which Owen shake you want, just put in that code CC15 to save 15% off your first purchase. Appreciate you, Owen. Had
Thanks,
mine earlier
Owen.
today.
When you started that, you were talking about C, and I was like, Owen doesn't start with C. I'm like, how are you gonna jump into this?
Made it work somehow. Made it work.
CC15.
CC15 at checkout. All right. I think we got to go back to this little guy who I think I'm just going to pick him up and wake him up on camera. But how we got Brady. Like, I think that's where we should go with this. What he's meant to us. Yeah. What it's been like taking care of a Australian cattle dog who has more energy than me, than anything that, I've ever been a part of. But I'm going to pick him up.
Even though he's sleeping right now, but he's got lots of energy.
Come here, little dude.
Hi, puppies.
I want to pick you up.
This is live, so whatever we get from him right now, that's just what it's going to be. Whatever it is, whatever mood he's in. Oh, it's a puppy.
Okay. This is Brady. He just knocked off my head.
He doesn't like to be picked up, one.
And I just woke him up from his nap.
And just woke him up.
Hey, dude. You're on camera for everyone to see.
Pretty boy.
But black and white Australian cattle dog for the people who just listen to the podcast. All right, Brady, I'm going to let you go. See you later, bud. You can go back to your bed and go back to sleep. Love you, dude.
Figured pup.
Oh. I have your fur all over me.
Come up here?
Okay, he's here. All right. For people who are listening to the podcast, we brought the dog on. Kind of. He's just here and I'm scratching him, but
he's a little camera shy. Now you have a little. Let's go this way.
Okay.
You got some Brady fur on your.
That's okay. Let's. How about you tell the story of how he happened?
Yeah. Okay. So this started off 3 years ago. I know we call him a puppy because he's just gonna be forever a puppy in our eyes. But we got him 3 years ago, which is crazy to think about because it doesn't feel like 3 years at all. But we were actually at a party, a friend's party. And we were sitting on the porch one night. It was late and we were all just talking outside, and we have some friends, shout out to Nick and Tiff, who had actually gotten his sister Zoe a couple of days before, I think that sounds about right. Yeah. So they were telling us all about their puppy. We were asking questions because we had seen pictures and she was the cutest thing ever.
Adorable.
Still is adorable. And they were telling us that they were still, I think, a few puppies left, or 2 puppies left at the time. Mm-hmm. And they showed us a picture of Brady, which we're going to insert right here. Yep. And we looked at each other. We're like, oh my gosh, this is the cutest dog. Yeah, I think as soon as I saw the picture, and we had been having a couple drinks that night. I think I remember saying, like, I'm going to get him. And the thing is, you had been talking about wanting a dog. Mm-hmm. So I know we didn't really go into it all the way, but we we have a family dog. I guess that is family dog. It's my brother's girlfriend's dog, but she lived with us for a while, so that meant her dog also came with her, and it became like our family dog, Mabel, if anyone's ever seen her on my posts. So it was our first like introduction to a dog. I remember like always telling you stories about Mabel and just telling you like you need a dog. Like it's literally life-changing. And yeah, so you were kind of like talking about it. I remember you like we had a lot of conversations about getting one.
Yeah, no, for sure. And, just hearing our friends Nick and Tiff talk about them getting a dog and me, never having one. And it was bound to happen. And this wasn't during COVID yet. He's definitely a COVID puppy.
I think it was because in the videos that I have of us like shopping at that time, we were wearing masks.
Oh, okay.
So I think it was.
So, but we went. So he is from Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. So it's about a 2.5-hour drive from where we're at. But I remember telling my parents the night before, like, I'm coming home with a dog tomorrow. And they were like, oh, you're not doing that. You're not going to bring home a dog. I'm like, okay, I told you, just let you know. So we went up to Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. And we'll probably insert like our little video that we made of what we thought at the time, because he was black and white, was going to be named Oreo. A little Oreo. And I don't know how, I mean, I thought it was going to be a good name, but I think Brady
just fits him so much more now.
It does fit him. And right, puppy? Yeah, you're Brady boy. He's Brady boy. But yeah, we drove up to Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. We saw, I think there was how many dogs left? Was it just 2?
I think there was only 2 left.
I wonder if that was his brother Bear.
Yeah, it was.
My dad's friend has, and I mean looks a lot like him, but he was there and Brady was there, and I remember walking up and seeing the little guy wagging his tail. And
so can I go back a little bit? I think we were gonna pick him up that weekend, but something came up. I think the person who had this litter of puppies was Bob
or something like that.
It was literally Bob. He was saying that something came up and they weren't going to be there that weekend, so we were like, what about today? And it was like all on a whim. We got everything that same day, drove up with Sam, your brother.
Yep.
It felt like a far drive just because it was so exciting.
Yep.
And there's also like nothing there. So
yeah, there was nothing there. But Brady was
Brady, yeah, he was there. He saw like you coming up, and he was like wagging his little tail. Oh my gosh, so stinking cute.
And he's just, you can't see it, but he's just sitting.
He does this thing where he sits like a person, and it's so funny because he's not looking at anything specific. He's just sitting there.
Weirdo. I always call him weirdo. But on the drive back, it was crazy because it started raining, and was it thundering too as thundering. Well? And you had to kind of hold him up like Simba.
Yeah.
Because anytime you brought him down, he would start crying. And this is, again, a 2.5-hour drive, and you're just holding him up. And, Brady's,
It's the only way he wouldn't cry was like holding him up.
And now he's terrified of rain and thunder and all those sounds. But I wonder if that had anything to do with it. But
I do too, because I mean he didn't like it that day, and I wonder if it just traumatized him since then.
Yeah, stuck with him. Yeah. But we eventually got back to my parents and opened the door, and
I remember your mom came down, and she was immediately like welcoming to him, like, oh, he's so cute, and like asking us a bunch of questions. I remember your dad. I remember the look on his face. He's like, what did you just do?
I literally told him, hey, I'm gonna go get this dog, and boom, there he was that day. And I'm so glad we made that. I'm so glad we made that decision on a whim. Went to go get him because literally has changed our lives.
Yeah.
Like, I know that maybe sounds dramatic, but he literally has. Growing up, and again, it was during COVID too that we had him. So a lot of time I was just at home, and I was still living at my parents' house. You were still living at your parents' house. So every morning, wake up, go in the backyard, kind of teach him things, how to, everything you have to do when you have a small puppy. but it was life changing and put me on like how to time manage and be attentive and what are you eating, all these little things I had never done before.
Yeah.
But I like it's crazy how much he has impacted not only my life, your life,
Your
my
parents.
Like Brady's here right now in the apartment,
Yeah.
but they'll constantly text me like, "Oh, when can we get Brady back?" Or
Yeah.
and so he'll kind of
Shared
switch
custody.
off. Yeah, shared custody of this little guy, but they love him. My dad posts pictures of him all the time, and he wakes me up at around 5:30 in the morning, 6 o'clock. Let's go play catch, and
Yeah.
his
he
ears
turned around.
perked up when I said the word catch, and there it goes again. But he's ready and he knows, and I love waking up early to go out there with him and just do that consistently.
Yeah.
I don't mind that at all, but it's awesome what he's kind of done.
That's something I do want to say, guys. Like, one thing that maybe, actually, you know what? I think people do know because you post him all the time. But Nick is literally the best dog dad ever. Like, I don't know anyone else who's gonna wake up with their dog at 5:30, and I'm sure a lot of people do. But it's honestly so like crazy that you do that every morning. You don't complain about it. You love doing it, whether it's snowing out or whatever, because he wants to get out there regardless of what the weather is, and you'll do it, and you don't complain. And you're so like attentive with him, and honestly, like it's funny to see because if anything's wrong, like immediate vet visit. Like,
yeah, it's true. Like he's my little boy.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure he's good. But
it's so sweet.
It's honestly too like when he's not here and at my parents, like I
You
don't
feel it.
I don't wake up. Well, yeah, that too. Definitely don't feel it, but like I don't wake up on time like I want to. Like he starts my day, and I like that. I like getting my day started early, and he knows when I put on the alarm, it's like it's time to go, and so we do really like that. But like what you said, when he's not here, like we'll be working on our respective laptops, doing our thing, doing whatever we're doing, and we'll just take a second, go hug him. Like when he's in his dog
Go
bed.
mess
Like,
with him.
Go mess with him. Like I always say when he's not here, I just want to body slam the little guy. Like playfully just throw him down. But
because honestly, if you have a pet, and I've said it before too, like dogs, pets in general, whether you have a cat or anything else that you love, like it literally is just little boosts of serotonin throughout your day, and you don't realize that until you have one.
No, you definitely don't. It's funny too because when he's not here too, we'll do like Brady mannerisms where a little side eye, like he looks at you side eyed, and
in the morning sometimes we'll like act like Brady, like we'll pretend we have the zoomies.
Oh, I know. When he gets the zoomies, any dog owner knows, when he gets the zoomies, you better watch out. But yeah, like it's
something
crazy.
Else whenever he's not here and we hear like a fire truck pass by, we always start to howl.
Oh yeah, so anytime a fire truck or anything like ambulance, anything passes by and you hear the sirens, he'll just start howling like a little wolf, and we'll do it at the apartment, like
he's not here because we know that's what he would be doing.
That's what he would be doing, and again, it's just it really is awesome. The impact that he's had, and he doesn't know that, but we love him so much, and I think he reciprocates that love as well back to us, and keeps
more
us
so
entertained.
you, but that's okay. I understand.
He does love his dad.
Nick did all the hard parts. Obviously, you had him as a puppy. We didn't live together at the time, and it was more so like your puppy.
But
and
again, I never had one, and I wanted this to be my dog, and I'm so glad though that everybody else, really loves him too.
Oh my gosh, it's so easy to love Brady. He's so
true.
Playful and energetic, and he's so sweet. He really not sweetened up, but I remember before he wasn't as cuddly as he is now. And I know your parents, when your dad was here, he was like, I can't believe how like calm he is here, but here he's like a little love bug. Like he just follows us around. He just wants to cuddle.
Yeah, he's awesome. I couldn't have asked for a better first dog, and I love how he's super athletic too.
Yeah.
I posted a video on Twitter where we're kind of playing catch with this inflatable ball. He hits it back up with his nose, and I catch it. The second one, I was not ready for it, and just hits it back. It hits me right in the face. He's awesome, and he's, again, the energy is what I really love about him. The energy, because
his personality. It's so crazy to me. I didn't know this. as someone who didn't grow up with dogs, I didn't know. I guess I kind of could assume, but it's different seeing it, that every dog has their own personality. And it's so funny to me.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Like, and all of a sudden, like, all these dogs popped up in our lives. Like, started with Mabel, then it was Brady, then my mom adopted a doodle, and then my brother got another dog. So, like, all of a sudden, like, all these little dogs in the family, and it's funny seeing them together sometimes, even though it's rare because they don't all get along.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see all their little personalities.
No doubt. Dogs are awesome. People who are dog owners, you know that.
Yeah.
You know how special they are to you.
We could only speak for dog owners because that's what we have. But I'm sure, like, cat people in general. Oh.
So, if you're watching, my face lit up because I knew exactly what you were going to say. But that 3-letter word.
I'm surprised he didn't react to that.
Maybe because he's sleeping, C-A-T, he knows it. And he loses his freaking mind when he hears it. And he'll go up to the window looking for these things. Or
the ones that start with the S and they're in the tree.
I think I could say like squirrels too. Okay, see, I said that I didn't want to say this loud.
We're being really risky right now.
But if he hears that, usually he loses it. And sometimes when I take him out in the mornings, we'll play catch, and he'll see them, and he kind of takes off, and it's not a fenced-in area, but him and we built this relationship. Like, you can only go so far before I get mad at you, and he'll know it, and then he'll come back. Yeah. But so he's very smart. He can pick up on things, and I'm sure, like, if you have dogs too, like, you know, I'm sure they all have their unique characteristics. But
yeah,
that's our Brady boy.
It's our Brady boy. Have you ever seen the post where it's like they'll show the dog and its name, and then everything else that they call him?
Yeah.
So I was trying to think, like, what are all the different names that we call him? So it's usually Brady boy.
I call him weirdo sometimes.
Weirdo, puppy face. What else?
Puppy man. Like, I'll change it from puppy boy, puppy man, little boy,
little guy,
big-eared pup.
He's
got a bunch of names, and he's
you can probably hear his little jinglies right now.
Yeah. But
that is how we got Brady.
That's the story behind him and what he's meant
brown-eyed
to us.
Brown-eyed boy.
He's
got the most brown eyes ever.
Does have big brown eyes and giant ears.
I wonder
feet.
I wonder if we sound like parents and they talk about their child.
Yeah,
like, he's the most perfect little thing. Everyone's probably like, oh, okay, relax.
Your dogs are awesome too.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that's what we wanted to cover in today's show. Pets, what we didn't have growing up, what we did have growing up, how it's kind of changed our lives, and what, being dog parents has meant to us. In the comments, what kind of pets did you have growing up? What do you have right now? How has that been for you? And
let us know your pets' names.
Yes, pets' names. Drop them in the comments. We'd love to read them and see what you have growing up and who you currently have a part of your beautiful families. But I think it's gonna do it for an episode 5.
Episode 5. That's a wrap.
Before we officially close things off, please go like this video, subscribe to the podcast, comment on the YouTube video. More likes, more comments just helps us with the algorithms in YouTube as well, so we can get seen by more people and kind of get this out to an audience that has not seen couples coverage yet. So please go do that. And again, word of mouth, just send it to a friend, a family member, whoever. But you do that, it's going to help us out in the long run. But appreciate everyone that has listened to previous episodes
and has left comments. Honestly, like, every single person who's listened so far, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. I still get so excited about the comments, the messages,
or seeing
DMs.
us in like our Instagram stories, like listen to couples coverage. That's awesome.
I love seeing that. Yeah.
So thank you again to everybody who's shown us support as we're still building this up. Only episode 5, but we're keeping it consistent. And next Wednesday, like we said in the beginning of this podcast, we're going to put out another episode. So make sure the bell notifications are on YouTube. You're all tuned in for that. But that's it. We're going to call it an episode.
We're going to go spend time together because we're about to leave each other again.
That's right. Yes, we are leaving again. So we're going to call it an episode. And until next time, see you later, everybody.
Bye.